What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Table Fellowship. So thankful to have you here with me today. My name's Ellie, in case you don't know. Before we get started with some food, as always, I want to jump into what I've been reading in the Word recently, because that's one of my whole goals with Table Fellowship, is also the fellowship part of it, and that is talking about the Bible, talking about Jesus, and talking about the Word, right? I'm in the book of Galatians. We're going to pick up in chapter 6 at verse 2. Chapter 6, verse 2. Bear one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. What is that law? Well, Jesus gives over 400 commands in the New Testament. In John 15, he sums up that to fulfill that law is, to fulfill those commandments is to love one another. So to bear each other's burdens and to fulfill the law of Christ is to love one another. This verse is something near and dear to my heart, because when my husband and I went through the loss of our baby, the bear one another's burdens is exactly what our church family did, our friends and family, our community, even people who I haven't talked to in years, bared that burden with us, and it got us through the hardest time in our life. And so I just want to encourage all of you, whether you are the person who is needing to have your burdens bared with somebody, or if you are somebody who can help bear somebody else's burden, do that. Love one another. Reach out to your friends, your family, your church community, anybody. But bear one another's burdens, and so that you fulfill the law of Christ. So, just some food for thought for you. Now let's cook some food. Alright, so for today's recipe video, we're going to be doing what I would call like a dinner date recipe, right? And so you want to impress that someone, or you want to show off to your husband, or your husband show off to your wife and cook a really nice meal. That's what we're going to make today. We're going to make pan-seared duck breast with some crispy skin, roast asparagus, and then a red wine reduction sauce to go with it. And it's going to blow their minds. So let's get started, shall we? I prepped everything at the start. This is actually something that I wanted to show you guys. It's this French phrase called mise en place. And what mise en place means is in its place, right? And so if you are cooking a meal, especially if it's a meal that has multiple components to it, if you can get everything prepped beforehand, that's going to make your cooking job so much easier during the actual cooking process, right? So mise en place, in its place. Well, the ingredients we need here is we need beef broth, we need red wine, we need butter. I need more butter that's cold and in the fridge. That'll come into play later. We need duck breast, obviously. We need thyme, lemon, salt, pepper, asparagus, and shallots. I have a little extra duck fat in case my duck doesn't render quite enough. I can add some to the pan. But that's the ingredients we need. As always, I'll have the entire recipe with the ingredients and how to prepare the ingredients down in the description below. But what you're going to want to do is finely chop some shallots. You want to smash some garlic. You want to get your asparagus with the ends off. This is my discard bowl, as you remember last time. And then we're going to score the duck fat in this crisscross pattern. I went ahead and prepped most of that, but I do want to go through a couple of these things with you first, so that way you can kind of get a hang as to what to do with it. So for the asparagus, a lot of people take their bunch of asparagus and they bunch it up like this, and then they cut off an inch or two at the bottom, right? That works. You may not actually get all of the stringy part though. Each asparagus is a little bit different as to where that stringy part starts and where it ends. So if you cut off in just one area, it'll be fine for some, but not fine for others. So what I do, it's a trick I learned, I think on Food Network actually, is you take your asparagus, you grab it about halfway, grab the end, and then start bending it. Where it snaps, this is the stringy part. This is the part you want to keep. Boom, just like that. So you can do that with a few of them. That one's gone. That one's gone. That one's gone. There we go. So that is how you prep that asparagus. What I'm gonna do now is get the asparagus prepped and in the pan and then out of the way so we can go through what to do next. All right, so we got our asparagus on a sprayed cooking sheet. I use avocado oil spray, and I drizzled it also with a little bit of avocado oil. For the asparagus, we're gonna keep it really simple. Salt and pepper, that's it. You don't need a lot. I'm getting a big 3-finger pinch here of salt. It's usually about a teaspoon or so. I'm gonna go over here, put it on there. We're gonna get our pepper, put it on there as well. We got our asparagus prepped. Now I'm gonna show you how to finely dice a shallot. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna get a shallot. I already cut it in half. I'm gonna take the outside peel off. It's gonna go on our scrap bowl. The scrap bowl is gonna save your life, let me tell you, because then you can keep your cutting board clean. So, I got a little end bit right there. Here we go. So for a shallot, similarly, hard to say, similarly to an onion, you're gonna do the cross method and the across method, and then go down on it. Let me show you what I mean by that. So what you're gonna do is go in the middle of the shallot. You want the root end intact, and you go in the middle of the shallot and go your knife very carefully towards the back, about 3/4 of the way through, not all the way to the root. And then you're going to turn the shallot and you're going to take your knife and go down in slots this way, about 3/4 of the way through. So you're like this. Perfect. Last thing you're going to do is you're going to create that claw. You're going to get your knife and you're going to very carefully make your small dices. Just like that. And you have a small diced shallot. So now you have your shallots prepped, asparagus is prepped. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to score the skin on the duck. The reason we score the skin is it creates more surface area for that duck skin to get nice and crispy in the pan. So what you want to do is you want to get an extremely sharp knife. If you do not have sharp knives, invest in a knife sharpener. I will leave the one I use below. It's called a tumbler knife sharpener. That was a tongue twister. and it's fantastic. So what you want to do is you want to get an extremely sharp knife and you want to very carefully score the skin in a crosshatch, not going through with the meat. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your knife nice and carefully, and I'm just going to go like this until I get that crosshatch score. Perfect. All right. So now we have it nice and scored. You can see that crisscross pattern on there. And then from there, I'll show you how to cook the duck breast. To prep the duck to go in the pan, we're going to salt and pepper both sides. Now what you want to do is you want to take skin side up and you want to pretty heavily salt skin side, right? So it's going to be quite a bit more. I'm doing almost a pinch per duck breast, basically. What you're going to do, you're going to flip them over. And now you're going to lightly salt the other side. For this one, I'm going to do 1 pinch for all of it. The reason you do the salt from really high up is it gets more surface area on whatever you're salting. If you take your salt, and you go nice and low like that, you're going to get this tiny little surface area. If you go nice and up, you're going to get a huge surface area. Then you can get your pepper. Are you really cooking meat if you don't slap your meat? Anyways, very gently pat dry your duck breast. Probably should have done this first before I seasoned, but I forgot, so here we are. Keep that hen clean. I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference, to be totally honest. All right, pat that dry. Now we're going to start cooking. This asparagus is pretty thin, so I'm going to put it in the oven probably about halfway through cooking the duck breast. You don't want the asparagus to be overcooked. You know it's overcooked when it's this really dark green color. When it's this nice bright green color, that's how you know it's perfect. So I'm going to wait to put the asparagus in the oven until about halfway through the duck being done. Preheat oven to 350. I guess I should have started with that. Anyway, so for duck, you're going to start with your pan on a cold heat, and you're going to lay your duck skin side down. So we can get all 4 of them to fit in here. Oh, I forgot to cut off that little guy. Oh well. Duck goes skin side down. The reason we want to start with a cold pan is we want that fat to slowly render out. So once you get your duck in there, then you're going to put your pan onto a medium to medium-low heat. So what's happening here is the pan is slowly heating up. It's going to also slowly start rendering and cooking that duck fat down. And we're just going to let the duck sit in this pan until that duck fat renders down, that skin starts to really crisp up. And we'll be able to tell that because around the edges of the duck, we'll see this golden color, and we'll try to start flipping it once we see that golden color. We're not going to touch it beforehand. We don't want to touch it beforehand. It's going to rip the duck skin off, right? So once we see that golden color, we'll attempt to flip it. We'll know it's ready to flip because it's going to naturally come off the pan super easily. Duck is this interesting meat because unlike chicken, you can actually cook duck like you do beef. So you can cook it like you would a steak and have it medium rare or medium well, right? We like it medium rare here, so we're going to cook it to about 130 degrees. And the way to really know that we get that perfectly is having a meat thermometer. You can use one of the ones that you insert as you go. I personally like this one because I have a phone app that goes with it, and I can just look at my phone and know my meat's about done and stuff, right? Highly, highly recommend getting some type of meat thermometer. A smart thermometer will make your life 10 times easier though. All right, so as you can see, so much of that fat has now rendered down, and you can even start to see some of that gold around the edge, right? So I'm gonna see what they look like. At this stage as well, what I'm gonna do is add in butter, thyme, and garlic to the pan, because then we're gonna baste the duck as well. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do garlic. And we're gonna do thyme. All right, so let's see. Oh, do you see that golden color? That is what we're looking for. So now at this stage, what we're gonna do is flip them over and cook on the non-skin side or the open breast side for probably 3 to 5 minutes. Oh, that's gorgeous. That's not quite brown. Yes. Beautiful. I'm moving to the side a little bit of this butter is now infusing with the thyme and the garlic. Now I'm just gonna baste it some, right? I can smell the thyme and I can smell the garlic and it smells amazing. So we're just gonna baste. So what I did is I took some of that rendered duck fat and butter and I put it into a medium saucepan. Now what I'm gonna do is add in those diced shallots into the pan. Should just give it a nice slight sizzle. We're also gonna add in a pinch of salt. Oh, by the way, this is a pinch, right? This is not a pinch. Pepper. Bunch of thyme. All right, so that's been cooking for a couple minutes. What we're gonna do now is add in red wine and beef broth. And then we're gonna let this cook until it reduces by at least half. So this is reduced by half. What I'm going to do now is very carefully strain out the liquid. So I've got that strained liquid back in the same saucepan. I've reduced my heat to low, medium, low. Yeah, there we go. Low, medium, low. This is cold butter that I've had sitting in the fridge. The reason we add cold butter to it is we want the butter to emulsify and thicken the sauce. If we add warm butter, it's not going to do that. It's just going to melt it, right? So I'm going to add these in just a few at a time, whisking as I go. Alright, so that's melted. I'm going to add a few more in there. This is the part where you have to be kind of patient. So you can see the colors change a bit. It's a bit darker yet creamier. Oh, I love that. Okay, we're gonna add a few more. I had 2 tablespoons of cold butter cubed and pressed. I may not use it all. I think I might use just a little bit under 2 tablespoons. Back of a spoon. Perfect. Let's plate this. What I did with the asparagus once I took it out, I squeeze a little bit of lemon juice on it. It's gonna add this nice freshness and pop. Look at that. Oh, it's gorgeous. So there you have it, pan-seared duck breast with a red wine reduction sauce and some oven roasted asparagus. This would be the perfect date night dinner. Date night in, impress your loved one. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna pray for our food really quick. Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for this food and your provision, God. Thank you for your grace and your mercy for us who are not deserving of your grace and mercy, Lord. All of us, God. I pray you bless the speech of our body. I pray that you bless the equal fellowship. And that more people come to know who you are through your word, through your son, and through fellowship and food. Amen. Till next time, guys. Thanks.
Action.
Perfect.